The way the Detroit Lions just put the Baltimore Ravens in rotation on live television should not have been legally televised to viewers under the age of 18. Lions, 38. Baltimore Ravens, 30. Derrick Henry, do something! 3 fumbles. 3 games. What is going on? You had 50 yards this game. One of your runs was 20 yards and a tud. This is the second time this year you have costed your team because you can't hold on to the rock. Someone get the stick and start poking at him in practice. Remember how they did Zeke when he had a fumbling problem? Start poking at Derrick Henry in practice because this is absolutely ridiculous. Detroit Lions offense had a day. Jared Goff, Jared Goff, the bus driver. And he's a bus driver, don't get me wrong. He thrives off the run. If you shut this team's run game, I've told y'all year in, year out. You shut down the Lions run game, Jared Goff is going to fumble, he's going to fold, he's going to throw some interceptions, and he's going to lose the game. Jared Goff, 202 passing yards and a tud. Jahmyr Gibbs, 62 rushing yards, 2 tuds. David Montgomery, 151 rushing yards. Looking like just a top running back in the league, comes off the bench. 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 77 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. The Lions, ladies and gentlemen, and this is how the Ravens lost this game, right? This is the most ridiculous stat. I want someone to fact check this. What teams have 2 95-plus drives in one game, right? The Lions had a 98-yard drive and a 95-yard drive. That's basically draining together a whole quarter of football. They drained a whole quarter of football, not all at the same time. If you add the time together, they drained a whole quarter of football on 2 drives. 98 yards. They put David Montgomery in the backfield. Granted, the Ravens had no Matabike. The Ravens had no Kyle Van Noy. They had no Jair Alexander, which Jair Alexander, you weren't going to have him anyways. We all know how that goes. Put David Montgomery in the backfield. Run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle. I mean, it's the most boring football I've ever watched. The Lions are the most boring team in the NFL because they're going to run, play action to Amon-Ra, run, play action to Amon-Ra, run, play action to Amon-Ra. And it gets so boring. Sometimes they'll mix in J-Mo, right? I think he had 1 catch last night for like 10 yards, 20 yards, something like that. But if you just take the run away, I've been telling y'all over and over again, just take the run away, right? And the Lions aren't anything. Most boring team in football currently. Then again, 98 yards, 96 yards. And here's how they did it, right? The Ravens defense, as we talked about, battered, beat up, one of the worst in the league. One of the absolute worst defenses in the league, one of the best defenses, or one of the best offenses in the league. Who wants to talk about the last time a team went to the Super Bowl with one of the worst defenses and one of the best offenses? I'm going to let y'all guess down in the comments. I know the answer to it. There's one out of the last 20 teams. There's one team out of the last 20 teams to go with a bottom-ranked defense and a top-ranked offense. I want y'all to guess that down in the comments. Lamar Jackson, 288 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. It's not Lamar's fault, ladies and gentlemen. D-Hop, do something. Zay, do something. Why can the receivers not get open? I mean, you're having to rely on 35-year-old Mark Andrews, right? 46-year-old Mark Andrews to get open. And what's crazier is, I get Lamar, by the way, sacked 7 times that game. Shout out the way the Lions D-line, by the way, if you want to watch cinema, the way the Lions D-line played against Lamar Jackson, always had a D tackle in the spy, staying back, creating kind of a pyramid around him. So if he got out, that D tackle could at least create enough pressure for the guys to come down, for a linebacker to come down and help him out. flushing him out of the pocket, and the DN's just setting the edge right enough, right? Just setting it right enough to keep him in the pocket, maybe make him step up so that D tackle can make a play. It was absolute cinema how they just went out there and stopped Lamarvelous Jackson, multi-MVP. Seems unstoppable at times. He had time in the pocket, though. There were multiple times it felt like Lamar had 10 plus seconds in the pocket. No one could get open. He had to end up stepping up, trying to run, getting sacked. And it's just, I don't know what is wrong with the Ravens. Something has to give, though. What is happening with Derrick Henry is absolute sick work. It's sickening to watch. 3 fumbles, 3 games. Like I said, get the stick out there and poke at him in practice. You know how they did Zeke when he had a fumbling problem? Just poke at him with the damn stick, right? It's sick watching him fumble this ball over and over. And then you throw a temper tantrum on the sideline, you big bitch. You throw a temper tantrum. You throw a temper. I fumbled again. I fumbled Lamar. I'm sorry, Lamar. Hold on to the ball. Quit throwing a temper tantrum, crying on the sideline. Do better. 50 yards. You had 1 run for 20 and a tud. This is a game where Derrick Henry has to be good. Or, of course, the Ravens are going to lose 38. I don't know if I'm willing to say yet the Lions are a great team. They scored 38 on one of the worst defenses in the league. They still allowed 30 from Lamar Jackson. The 7 sacks are insane. I put the sacks more on the Baltimore Ravens receivers not being able to get open, right? And that's not because the Lions secondary is not great. Y'all can hype them up as much as you want to. They're not great. They got barbecue chicken multiple times. But, when one of your best receivers is DeAndre Hopkins, it's just not looking good out there. Do I think the Ravens can turn it around? Of course, they did it last year. Do I think the Lions are still on fraud check? They could be. I think that the Ravens will make it further in the playoffs than the Detroit Lions. I think the Detroit Lions are going to have a fall off. Their division looks really good this year. The Ravens division is But that is a massive Monday Night Football win for Jared Goff and the boys, not taking anything away from him again. 202 yards, 62 from Gibbs, 151 from Monty. Absolute offensive performance, absolute defensive performance, and I can't stress that enough on how amazing that defensive performance is. And by the way, a team with 2 new coordinators. Lamar Jackson needs help. Derrick Henry needs to quit being a little bitch on the sideline. And here's the thing with the Ravens, right? They're not dominating the time of possession. They're going out there, they're scoring, and they can score fast. The Ravens can go out there and they can score fast. And then you're putting that terrible defense back out into the game. Again, that's not going to win you games. But that being said, down in the comments, I want you to tell me who is the last team to win. My bad, not win because they didn't win. To go to a Super Bowl with the worst defense and one of the best offenses. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this Monday Night Football game. Let me know if you think the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. Let me know if you think the Ravens are a fraudulent team. Down in the comments. Don't forget, like and follow.